Peace, and welcome to another episode of Sins of the Father. I'm your host, Ani Al. I am, and I want to bring to you this word that I got this morning. We're part of a group of brothers that we get together every so often, and we build, and we have the opportunity to, talk our way through feelings and situations that we may be going through. And I just want to express how powerful that is. This morning we had a quick group call, and it's just amazing to see how needed we are to each other, how much energy, love can be brought out when brothers are willing to be vulnerable and willing to share and not feel like they got to wear the world on their shoulders. So this topic might be a little bit off from the intergenerational trauma that we speak about, but it's still intertwined in a way, because one of the reasons that men don't talk, I think, is because we have been led to believe that being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. It's been something that's been programmed into a lot of us, whether it be through parents, telling us that, men don't cry, or fathers kind of saying, hey, don't be soft, suck it up. Movies showing men being macho and not really showing emotions. And usually the heroes of our movies are unemotional and unvulnerable. And I just think that's such a misnomer. I think that's such a misleading ideal. Men are just as human as women are, although we have different tendencies and different modalities that we work through. But I think for the most part, we all need validation, and we all need to be acknowledged for our contributions and for being able to reciprocate and give back to the thing that we take from. So as we look at, this day, today is actually Valentine's Day. So I'm not really sure when this particular episode is going to air, but this is Valentine's Day. And, I just woke up with a level of love on my heart that I feel like I wanted to share, because we don't share it like that. It's always a condition. People speak about unconditional love all the time, and I don't know how much people really understand what unconditional love really is. What does that mean when you tell somebody that you unconditionally love them, or you unconditionally got their back, or you unconditionally there for them? To really be able to tap into that, you have to be of right mind. And you have to first unconditionally love yourself. Because we have so many layers of trauma and things that have happened and things that have conditioned us, we may actually think that loving ourselves is buying ourselves the material things, the gifts, the cars, the trips that we post so frequently on social media, and not really understand that loving ourselves is loving ourselves naked, nude, with nothing. If we were abandoned in somewhere where there was nothing to show off our material gains or our material accomplishments, that we would still love ourselves unconditionally. And I just want us to really reflect on that, and how important it is that we acknowledge our true self. It's because it's not this flesh. It's not this body. This is just a vehicle. It's a car. This is just a car, like any other vehicle, to transport the spirit, the soul, to another place, to allow us to accomplish our good deeds while we are here in this physical form, until we are, to meet back with our Creator, to be able to meet back with the Most High, and whatever we believe. And I would hope that most people believe that there's some level of higher power or intelligence in the universe, and that you are not the end all be all. I know I got my scientific community that may have some ideas around that, and I'm not here to debate or even go deeper into that. What I'm just here to say is that, you know, it's more important that we develop a level of awareness of our humanity, and that comes with interacting with others, because humanity has only thrived because men and women have decided to work together, because we are unable to do it alone. And as much as we've been taught how weak it could be and blah, 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 and, you know, these different masculine identities that we carry, which I'm not against all of them, you know, because I think there is a need for a man to be masculine. I think it is a need for a man to be a man, right? So I'm not taking away from that. I'm just talking about just strictly in terms of how we relate to one another and understanding the levels of vulnerability necessary to actually see the true person you're talking to. You know, I once had a conversation with some brothers, and I said to a brother that if I can't tell a brother that I love him and he can't tell me that he loves me, then that's not really my friend. It's just somebody I know. And we could be cool, but we just not really gonna be, we not bonded that way. Because when I reach that level of vulnerability with a brother, then it's because I know in my heart that that brother's not looking to take advantage of that information or that vulnerability. And that he's reciprocating that back because he feels confident that he knows that I have his back with no judgment. Which is huge for us as men, to have a space that we can create, that we can live in, that we can dwell in and share. Because we carry a lot of weight. And sisters, this is not in any way to take away from the weight that you carry, because you're the healing of the nation. I don't want to, I'm not in any way taking away from your great impact on the world and on human beings and on human nature at all. This is just strictly for my brothers right now at this point, what I'm saying in regards to where we need to evolve, where we need to tap into each other, where we need to find the wherewithal to understand that I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. The sooner we understand that, the sooner we begin to build. The sooner we begin to feel confident that we can rely on each other, that we're not in this alone. It removes a lot of the fights and a lot of the arguments and a lot of the uncertainties of life when you can speak truth to another individual and they can receive that truth without judgment. Think about without judgment. It's huge, and it's really important that we tap into that and not hold on to these ideals that were given to us by parents of a different time or family members of a different time, different generations, different levels of understanding. Remember, we evolve as human beings. We evolve. So the information that our parents may have had may have been what they were in that time, especially being that there was so much confusion and chaos in different parts of the earth at that time, in terms of America and what we were going through with all the different, cycles of inequality and racism and things of that nature. So there was a level of, and this is irregardless of color, because whether you were on one side or the other, you still went through a level of trauma, whether that be incorrect philosophy of your superiority to another person, or whether that be incorrect philosophy of your inferiority to another person, right? Either way, it was trauma, because in reality, you're equal, you're one human being, you're a human being, you're part of this human race. So just in saying that, the acknowledgement, the acknowledgement that it takes to be aware that those teachings for that time are not relevant all the time for this time. It's the same way how we don't use the Bible. Nobody's stoning each other when you sin, right? When you think about it, you're not stoning the person like you used to back in the Bible, where they would say, hey, you know, this person did this and this is the punishment, chopping off their hand. We're not doing that now because those things no longer represent the time that we're in. We've evolved to a level of civility that needs to be acknowledged. And part of that evolving is understanding the complexities of interrelations between human beings. Understanding the levels of love and vulnerability that need to happen between human beings. And I say this and address this to the men because men have the biggest wall up. We have the thickest wall up from our feelings. Women are light years ahead of us at times in expressing how they feel. And of course, they got their, you know, things that are not right. They have theirs as well. But for the most part, they're at least in touch with their feelings. They're at least willing to express how they feel and what's going on with inside of them to their friends. For the most part, you know, obviously you got some women that do the same thing, hold back their feelings and put on this front of masculinity almost that is just not healthy for them, right? But that's another topic for another day. Today we're just speaking about just in terms of people in general, and in particularly men need to recognize what this means. They need to recognize their need, whether they know it or not, their need to connect. Because the answers are amongst the community. The answers are amongst the community. There is a uniqueness to our experience, but there's a similarity that binds our experiences. There is really nothing that you are going to go through that someone else is not going through. And I remember, and it might be in the book of Ecclesiastes. And again, I'm not super religious at all, right? I read and I study. And in the book of Ecclesiastes, I believe, you have Solomon, who would just say, there's nothing new under the sun. You labor in vain to find something that has not already been done. Think about it. There is nothing new under the sun. Whether it's colored different, painted differently, viewed differently, it's the same act. So therefore, there's a wisdom to that already. Somebody has already went through it, and more than likely, multiple people have gone through it. And if you just tap into the wisdom of other people's experiences, you'll receive that guidance. But that takes a level of vulnerability, because now you got to express what it is you're looking for. Men are not taught how to understand what they're looking for. Men are not taught how to express their needs, because we're always in provider mode. And we forget that we have needs as well that are not always the most macho. You know, how many times do you feel confident to just ask for a hug as a man? I'm not talking about a loving, romantic embrace that you may ask your wife, your lady, your spouse for, but I'm just talking about as a man. You know, like, what up, brother? Like, how you feeling, man? You tapped in? You good? Like, is everything all right? How many times can you really say that you tapped in and you got that? Or that you was comfortable enough to do that? With you know, we may have our brothers that we can do it with, but when we begin to broaden our circle, it's the power. Like, what do they always say? Your net worth is connected to your network, right? So in that, your emotional net worth, your mental net worth is connected to your network of people that you can actually tap into. Because, again, we were told and programmed for so many years that we hold things close to our chest. hide your hand, put on the poker face. All of these things that are counterproductive to our emotional evolvement, our emotional evolution. Because I believe we have to emotionally evolve to become what we are designed to be, which is impactful, powerful leaders, whether it be of our family, whether it be of our church, whether it be of our company, whether it be of our community, whether it be of our nation, and eventually whether it be of our whole world. We are designed to be leaders. But leaders have to be great listeners. And a great listener is someone who can feed back what they've heard. They can respond to that. But if you listen with a closed mind and you listen without the heart space to truly let that word tap in and be filtered through your own experiences and the experiences of others and your own heart center, then you can't really give it back. You can't give it back with love. You can't give it back genuinely. And this is when we talk about the unconditionalness of love, the unconditional side of what love is. And on this love day, this Valentine's Day, I hope that people find an opportunity to love on one another. And not just romantically love on each other, but love each other, like really tap in and be open to conversations. Because I watch brothers not talk to brothers no more. And I'm not talking about biological brothers. Not have relationships because they've allowed themselves to harden over years. They've allowed their hearts to harden over years of not being able to communicate effectively and not being able to communicate from a space of vulnerability and love. So in this time, and I don't even want to make it about today, because I believe that this should be something that we should be practicing on a daily, in safe spaces, because not everybody is evolved enough to handle that. And I want to be clear with that. So I don't want you to run out there and tell your personal secrets to the world, right? That's what I'm saying. I don't want you to run out there and, be vulnerable with people who are looking to manipulate and take advantage of your sensitivity or your heart. So I don't want to do that at all. What I'm telling you is, in safe spaces, be prepared and ready to let go. Because I found myself in those spaces, and in those times I took the chance to be vulnerable. And what I found is that more people are willing to receive my vulnerability than they are to judge it, repel it, or misjudge it. Because we all got judgment, right? We all judge things, right? But it's when it's a misjudgment sometimes that the hurt, both physical and mental, comes into play. So as I sit out here in the woods again, I'm still out. I'm having the time to be by myself and really reflect on the things that I feel matter, the things that I feel are relevant to my growth and the growth of the people that I care about. As you tap in, I hope that you find some value and some opportunity for you to find a way to be vulnerable with somebody, male or female. And I know this talk was a little bit centered around men, but sisters, I want y'all to know that it's important for you as well to find true connection, and not just based on material or looks, or, she's doing well like I'm doing well, and, those kind of things, because I think then you lose the opportunity to build up a sister who may not be where she needs to be at, who may be looking for that guidance, that love, that nurturing, to flower, to blossom. So we need each other to blossom, to evolve. If we keep talking about this world is chaos, this world is this, then then do we become the light? Do we become the agent for change? Do we become the agent for growth, for love? I pray we do. I pray we do. As I sit out and meditate and think about these things, I pray with all my heart that we find power in healing. Because we can easily sit and believe that things are going to get better just because they will, and because so many people and other people are doing things to help things get better, and never take the responsibility of doing the work ourselves. Faith without work is dead. So wiser man than me made that one up, right? Faith without works is dead. And works is the energy of producing something. That's what work. When you work, there is a production that comes out of work. You don't work and nothing comes out of it. So when you work, there's something that comes. If we skip that part and we don't do the work, then we can't expect the results. And we can't rely on another person's work to bring the results for us. It is our responsibility to ourselves to heal, and to heal those around us so that we have a healed community. We heal ourselves, we heal those around us so that we can have a healed community. A community of people who